Hey there guys, and welcome back to another video. So behind me is what I believe to be the best sports car that you can buy that's under £20,000. Now you might be wondering what it is. I'm sure you can pretty much see anyway, but yeah, we've got a Mark III Audi TT. This particular one is the S-Line version. As you can see, it's an absolutely stunning car. So this is a 2017. Prior to this, you had the Mark II, obviously, a lot more of a rounded shape. This one is a lot more angular, but it's not the newest version you can buy. You can actually buy a facelifted version of this exact car. However, I do think this one's better looking. Obviously, that's just down to opinion, but overall, it's a very aggressive looking car. And I know they have a Sigma attached to them. I know they're deemed to be a hairdresser's car. It's quite funny because this is actually my dad's car and he's a hairdresser, so the stigma's real, guys. But I never thought much of these cars until he got one. And there's a good reason for it. So the first reason I love the TT, guys, has to be the overall quality of the thing. You get the distinct impression that when Audi made the TT, they spent just a little bit too much money on it. And I'll tell you why I think that. You open the door, you've got a little TT logo in the side of the dashboard. Didn't need to be there, but it was there nevertheless. The materials inside the cabin are absolutely exquisite. You feel like you're actually sitting in a much more expensive car than it is. Bear in mind, yes, this is a 2017 model. However, it only had 30,000 miles in it and it was £20,000. Look at a Porsche Cayenne from the same year, you're spending a lot more money, and I don't think you're getting much more car either. This car, I genuinely think is the best bang for buck sports car you can buy at the moment, and you get so many cool things with it. I mean, this spoiler at the back pops up with a press of a button and over, I believe, 70 miles an hour. That's something you don't find very often. You've got these two twin tips at the back, which A, look really sporty and almost arc back to some sort of R32 heritage. I know that's a VW, but you kind of get that feeling from it. The alloys themselves, by the way, some of the alloys for the TT are pretty horrible. However, these ones I think are absolutely beautiful. They are diamond cut with like a grey anthracite type colour on them. You get the little Audi Sport logo on there as well. And you get, actually, worth mentioning, guys, this car comes with 245/35/19 normally. I have upsized these tyres for my dad because grip-wise, we had pretty bad quality tyres on before, and the back end kicked out in a corner. It made him kind of need to wear a adult nappy after that, to be honest. So we've now got Michelin PS5s on there, upsized as well, so more grip. He does say it feels like a completely different car now, and I know it's a very popular thing to do on the owners forums. It's an 8J wheel, or is it a 9J wheel? I think it's a 9J wheel. So you can actually fit a bigger tyre than that, but really you don't need more than a 255. And they actually come out cheaper than the 245 as well. So if you were going to buy one of these cars, guys, that is something you should definitely do. Now, if you are struggling to get over the Sigma attached to this car, let me try and reframe it for you. This has a Golf GTI engine in it. You've got the 2-litre EA888 Gen 3, so it's the best EA888 engine you can put in your car, not the Gen 3B like is in my Polo over there. IS20 turbo, pushing out 230 brake and I believe 350 newton meters of torque. And you've got Quattro. So in a sense, in my opinion, this is a Golf GTI with all-wheel drive, and it's better looking. Sue me, I think this is better looking than the Golf. You guys can put all your comments down below if you disagree with that, but I would pick one of these any day of the week. And the tunability of these cars, guys, is incredible. Like a stage 1 remap on these cars will get you to 300 brake horsepower. I think that's 0 to 16, 3.6 seconds at that point. You spend 20 grand on this car, 800 quid on an engine and gearbox tune, and you've got a car that's keeping up with supercars. Like, think about that. That is unreal. If you'd have said that to someone 20 years ago, they would have slapped you in the face, because just think about it, guys. It's crazy. But yeah, I think it's time to go out on a drive and tell you what it's like in the driver's seat and give you my honest feedback. I've just driven the car off the car park, and my dad looked absolutely petrified, which I found quite funny. But yeah, welcome to the TT, guys. Interior wise, it's absolutely stunning, as I've already mentioned, but I'll cut to some sort of B-roll clips of that now so you can get a gist of the quality. There's a bit of a, what's the word? People sometimes don't like this interior for a reason that other people might love it. So you've got your digital drive display up front, you have no center screen. So for a lot of people, that it makes the cabin look quite basic, and actually I think on pictures it doesn't really do this car any justice. I think when you see a picture of it, you think, oh, it's kind of lazy design, there's not much going on there. A lot of people sort of complain about the air vents as well. They think they're confusing. I've seen someone refer to them as saying you need like a training manual to even operate them. I think that can be further from the truth. I think it's really self-explanatory. On the vents on the left and the right of the cabin, you've got your heated seat control and obviously just your vent control as well. In the centre, fan speed, you've got your temperature, and then you've got where the things are blowing. It's really simple. I think a monkey could operate it. So anyone that complains doesn't know what they're talking about, in my opinion. But anyway, enough of the boring stuff. You've seen what the cabin looks like, you know it's nice. What's it like to drive? So, it's incredible. If I'm going to put it into one word, it's incredible. The seating position is brilliant. So you're very low down in the cabin and you feel like you're in a go-kart. So that's exactly what you want from a sports car, guys. So that's already ticked that box. The seat has got some really good bolster support. I'd probably say more towards the upper part portion of the seat. If you're quite broad, maybe that might be a bit uncomfortable for you. But the lower portion, a little bit less, but under thigh support's pretty good. So there's pros and cons to the seats, guys. Overall, really top quality. I find that with a lot of Audis, in all fairness, and the seats are really good. I quite like how the door position, sorry, the seat position compared to the door, it makes you feel like you're really kind of sunk down in the cabin. So you feel enclosed, like you're in a little shoebox with 230 brake horsepower. So it's it's a very fun experience. Steering wheel. So one of my biggest gripes with my car, the Polo, the wheel's massive. It feels really, really big. Whereas with the Audi, and I think in a lot of Audi models, you get this sort of smaller, more sporty feeling thing. And actually the wheels, it's really nice to look at, guys. This is as close to a baby R8 as you're gonna get. Yeah, beautiful flat bottom, perforated leather on the sides. It's really nice to use, and it doesn't feel like you're turning a boat. It feels like you're using a go-kart again. What's the gearbox like? So this uses the DQ250, so it's a 6-speed DSG. It's quick, it's a good gearbox. One thing I have noticed though is that obviously mine's tuned on my Polo. This feels so much slower, and I never noticed at the time when I actually got it mapped, but going back to a car without a map on it, it feels like a lot slower. It's still really quick, don't get me wrong, but it's not lightning fast like mine is now. So something to bear in mind. If you're going to get in this car and you may feel a bit disappointed with the shifts not feeling as quick as possible, that is something that could happen. However, it is very smooth. So some of these 6-speed DSGs feel jerky off the line. I've actually not felt that with this yet, and it's quite smooth all round up to 6th gear. It's just nice and steady. Steering response. I can't describe to you how agile this car feels. It's like it's darting. It darts around, and that's just the best feeling. I've not actually driven a car with... Sorry, I have driven a car with all-wheel drive before, but I've not driven a Quattro. Safe to say, you feel very planted on the road, and actually with these Pilot Sport 5s, almost feels like you couldn't crash it if you tried, to be honest with you. Another thing I will say, I'm very jealous of this car. And one of the biggest reasons for that is actually the DSG farts. There's something about them, they sound so different to my car. They're so crisp, and it almost sounds like it's got an exhaust in it already. Don't know why. In fact, this car actually has a valved exhaust on it as standard. I didn't know that. It's not something that, I believe this is true anyway, I don't think you can open and close it with a button. I don't think sport mode opens it. I think the car automatically does it in certain rev ranges. Reasons unbeknownst to me, I do not know. So yeah, but it is there, and that was kind of a shock to me. I didn't think not a base model TT, but certainly one that's not a TTS or a TTRS would have a valved exhaust on it. But it's very cool that it does, and this again adds to this whole thing that Audi spent too much money on the TT. I don't know if he did, by the way, I'm assuming, because it's just incredible in here. Even like your rear view mirror looks like something that you'd buy from Harrods. It's just this almost crystal looking, thin outer bezeled thing that I've not seen in even a car before, especially at this price point. It just feels like a luxury sports car. My dad was very much torn between spending 20 grand on this or spending a bit more and getting a Cayman. To be honest with you, and I think he agrees with this, it scratched the itch for buying a Porsche. He's always wanted a Porsche, and I think getting in this, he's realised that the difference in quality is not a big enough step to justify the price as well. And engine-wise, yeah, okay, you get a slightly cooler engine in the Cayman, But as a full package for this and the price, I don't think, like I say, it scratches the itch. So he doesn't feel the need to do that anymore. Let's try a bit of acceleration, guys. So second gear. Oh, DSG shift sounds incredible. It's a pretty nippy car, I'll be honest. These weigh in at about 1450 kg, I believe. I think it's basically the same weight as a Golf R, which makes a lot of sense because it's four-wheel drive and it's a similar size. It does look a lot smaller when you look at it from the outside, but certainly shifts with 230 brake horsepower. I think as your average driver, it's enough power for most people. Certainly not for me. I would like a bit more, to be honest with you, but I don't think you're getting this and think it felt slow. I think you'd maybe want to slow down a little bit, actually, because this feels deceptively quick. You can go into a corner at a speed that you really wouldn't expect, and it's very good. Brakes, let's try them out. They're pretty good, actually. And not the... Sorry, I'm just enjoying myself here, guys. Corners feel weird. So, in a front-wheel drive car, you certainly feel like the throttle really controls how you go around the corner. With this, it feels like the car's doing something a bit special. Yeah, it's nice. Obviously, Quattro is predominantly four-wheel drive, and then the Howlex kicks in the rear when you need it. You somewhat feel that. I think it would be more prominent in a car that's been tuned, but in this, it definitely feels like it's doing a little bit of something. Sorry, I just noticed the spoiler had gone down while I was driving. I think that's because I put it up, turned the car off, and then turned it back on. But yeah, that would explain why I couldn't reach 120 on the straight. I didn't have all the aerodynamics. Don't worry, Dad, I am driving it quite sensibly. Oh, God. I wish you could hear these farts better, guys. I'm going to try and put the GoPro on the back so you can actually get a really good sense of what they sound like, but it's a good sounding car. Oh, so nice. It's the best sounding shift I've ever heard. I didn't even think cars could sound like this straight out of the factory, but it's incredible. And believe me when I say this, guys, this car is one of the most slept on in the car scene. I'm putting it out there because for the money you get yourselves a really, really good platform. You can make an absolute beast with very little money put into it, and not much is going to catch up with it either, guys. Let's cover the boring stuff, shall we? So, fuel economy, it's pretty much the same as any other EA 888. You granny them, you get something like 40 miles per gallon out of them, or even more if you're lucky. If you floor them, it's going to drink fuel and take all your money like a gold digger. So, it's up to you. If you want to enjoy the car, get ready to spend a bit more money. If you want to drive like a granny and you've been upsold some sort of GTI or Golf R, or in this case Audi TT from your dealer, then yeah, sound, you might get some decent fuel economy out of it. I would say a safe bet if you've got a really heavy right foot, let's say 25. If you're really careful, let's say 40. I think in between those two amounts is fair. But overall, guys, running costs aren't too bad. Obviously, there's more servicing involved with a four-wheel drive car. You've got your Howlex service, you've got your gearbox to service, and you've got your engine service. But all in all, if you do that all yourself, it won't cost you all that much. Main dealer prices, it'll cost you an arm and a leg, and I wouldn't do that if I was you. But go to some decent third-party dealer, and it won't cost you all that much on your servicing. Something to note, although this car is well spec'd with the Bang & Olufsen sound system, which sounds very, very good, it doesn't have a sat-nav. Why, Audi, would you make such a beautiful car and put a very nice sound system in it and make it nicely spec'd, but not include a sat-nav? The funny thing is, these cars actually have a sat-nav, it's just not switched on. So you can go to some guy off Facebook and he'll do it you for 150 quid, and he'll activate your CarPlay, your Android Auto and your sat-nav for very little money. Or you can get yourselves to Audi, who activates something that's already on the car for £900. I've checked already, guys, it is literally that much money. So bear that in mind. Your car may not come with a sat-nav, but you can get it sorted on the cheap if you want. This car actually has lane keeping assist on it, which I've just noticed, but you can turn it off pretty easily with the button on the end of the left indicator stalk. You know, turning's really good, guys, and it's just like, it's very hard to explain. In a front-wheel drive car, if you feel the front slip in, you let off the throttle. With this, it kicks in the back, and that's the best way that I can describe it. It's basically, that is the biggest difference for me. If you're struggling for grip, that's when the back wheels come in and save you. Apart from that, it feels very similar actually, and arguably a little bit more enjoyable because you can do the corners a little bit quicker. Not compared to my Polo, obviously. That would be any four-wheel drive car around the track, I think. I keep just thinking of things to talk about, so I'm sorry if this footage is a little bit bitty here and there even, but I should talk about the infotainment system. I don't like it, if I'm honest with you. I'm used to my VW one and it seems a lot more intuitive, whereas with this, because everything's crammed into that screen, it just feels a little bit like an afterthought and slightly dated. Although it does look good, don't get me wrong, it doesn't look dated in terms of the dials, but the actual how you use it and the system behind it, I'm sure you can get used to it. But for me, I think there's better ones on the market, and yeah, it's okay, it does the job. Your best bet, really, get all your settings sorted and then get your Apple CarPlay activated and just use that, because that's better than any multimedia system on a car, in my opinion. It's a hoot to drive, guys. As a stock car, it's really fun. It's really, really fun. Quick thing I nearly forgot to mention, guys, and in a way I'm kind of glad I didn't. Rear room, it's a 4-seater, but just pretend it's a 2-seater because there's no room back there. Put your bag back there and maybe a very, very, very small child. Apart from that, it's pointless. But yeah, that basically wraps up today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed my review on the Audi TT Mark III. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below. Please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel to see more car reviews and other car-related content coming up very soon. But once again, guys, my name's Ed. This is Passion for Petrol. I'll catch you next time.